Hey there YouTubers, Tom here from Tom's Test Kitchen, and today I'm going to make something that I haven't made in a while and I really love it. It's mixed greens. Now what I have here is these are some collard greens, got some mustard greens here. I like a mixture. They all have really great flavors. I got some kale here, and some crushed red pepper, some salt, some pepper, and I've got some salt pork here. Now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cold smoke this salt pork today, and then I'm going to finish up with the mixed greens tomorrow. So let me get this ready and get it out on the smoker, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. It's actually really cool. So stay tuned. Okay, I've got my salt pork rinsed really well. Rinse off the excess salt and patted it dry. So let's get to smoking it. And I'm going to use one of my matchbook smokers with the pecan pellets in it. I love these things. I use these things all the time now. So let's just get that lit. Come on. A little bit more. There we go. Let's add our grate back. Then we'll add our salt pork with the skin side down. I'm just going to let that burn out. I've got my vent back over here so it'll travel across. So I'm going to let this go probably for about 2 hours. I'll check back after the first hour and see how it's going. It's been 2 hours. Check down after the first hour. They're looking good. So man, they look really good. I got 2 hours out of that one load of the matchbox smoker. It's a thing of beauty. It's a lovely smoke. I'm going to take these in, let them cool down. I'm going to wrap them in plastic, and I don't think I'm going to use both of these tomorrow for the greens. I think I'm probably just going to use one, and then I'll vacuum seal the other and put it in the freezer for another time. This is going to be awesome. Okay, it's the next day, and let's get these greens prepped. Now, I've cut off the real heavy root stems and discard any leaves that just doesn't look good. So now I've got my kale, I've got my mustard greens, and my collards. And I'm just going to give these guys a bath. Rinse really good, so I'm just going to fill the sink up with water and kind of agitate them, kind of like you would when you're rinsing lettuce. So I'm going to do a couple washes, make sure I get any dirt off or there's any bugs lurking around. So like I say, just fill this up with water and then agitate it. I'll be back in a little bit, and once this is all washed and prepped, and then I've decided to use a slow cooker or a crock pot today. So this should be interesting. I've never made greens in the crock pot, so I think this is going to be successful. So I'm going to let that go. I'll be back in a little bit. I got the greens washed and rinsed really good. So now what I'm going to do is just strip the leaves and tear them into small pieces. I don't want those center stems. I'm just going to add this to the crock pot. Just tear that up. So if you just do it like this, turn it up like just like you would lettuce. There's some of those mustard. These mustard greens. They're huge. They look like elephant ears. I love mustard greens. There's a Chinese restaurant here in Austin that makes a dish that every time I go there I gotta get it. It's pork and mustard greens. It is so good. I just love the taste of mustard greens. Kind of a bitter, peppery flavor. Okay, you got the idea here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just continue on this way until I have my crock pot full. All the greens are in the crock pot. And don't worry, this might look like a lot, but it's going to cook down. So I got all 3 batches of those greens in there, and I don't think I mentioned earlier how inexpensive these greens are. They were like 88 cents a bunch, so this is less than $2 and it'll feed a lot of people. And probably this was, I think, $2 for the salt pork. Oh man, it smells so good today. So what I've done is just cut this like this, and then also cut it like this so it can really get a lot of that flavor in there. Now I'm not going to add any salt or pepper to this yet. I'm going to let this cook down, and then I'll taste it and adjust the seasonings later. I will be putting a little bit of salt to taste. So I'll put some black pepper and some crushed red pepper. So I've just got my crock pot on high. I'm going to let this go, and then when this reduces down a little bit, I'm going to, actually I want to add some water. Just a little bit. Don't want to add too much because there's going to be a lot of moisture coming out of the greens. And okay, I'll be back in probably about another hour, hour and a half. I'll see how it's going. So stay tuned. Well, it's been 2 hours, and you can see it's cooked down quite a bit. I added some extra water. It didn't look like it had enough water, so I added a couple more cups to it, and that's perfect right there. So I'm just going to stir this a little bit. Get that salt pork mixed around. It smells awesome. Okay, let's taste this and see if we need to adjust the seasonings at all. Yep, need some salt. I'm going to go with a teaspoon and a half of kosher salt. And then some fresh black pepper. And then some crushed red pepper. Just a little bit. You can add as much as you want, but my wife's going to be eating this, and she's not a big fan of super spicy, but she can tolerate a little bit, so that'll be fine. I think the crock pot looks like it's going to be a good method for greens from now on. Just put it on there and forget about it, basically. Okay, let's adjust those seasonings, or see if we need to adjust them more. A little bit more salt. I'm going to add another half a teaspoon kosher salt. So that's 2 teaspoons of kosher salt in total. Man, I can smell that smoked salt pork. It really does add a lot of flavor to this. Okay. Okay, yep, that's good. That's perfect. So I'm just going to let this continue going. Show you what it looks like at the end. Well, it's been 5 hours and these greens are ready. So let's give them a taste. Give them a quick stir. It smells awesome. So this is how I like to serve it. In a bowl, small bowl, with some of that commonly known as pot liquor. Let's see if we can get a piece of that salt pork. Okay, I'll meet you over here. Okay, here's how I like to serve it. I like to put it in a bowl with some of that pot liquor. And where I'm from in Kentucky, we like to put a little bit of apple cider vinegar in there on the greens. Let's give that a taste. Mmm. It's perfect. Try that salt pork. Mmm. Oh man, that salt pork is so good. Try one more bite. Mm. It's got great flavor. It's nice and tender. Wow, it is so perfect. Nice little smoky hint from that smoked salt pork. Mm. Okay, we're not ready to eat dinner tonight, so I'll put this aside and then finish because I'm grilling some pork chops and got some macaroni and cheese I'll be serving up. But this is definitely the way to make greens: mustard greens, collard greens, and kale. Nice mixture, right? Really great mix of flavors. There you have it, YouTubers.